It's only Monday, and Micah Parsons is already making Cowboys versus 49ers sound even scarier than it already sounds for Cowboys fans. And that's because today, Micah talked about his game status leading up to the Week 8 showdown that is going to be on Sunday Night Football between a 3-3 team and a 3-4 team, which is maybe not what we expected for Cowboys 49ers, but it still feels as big, right? On one hand, you've got the Niners, who absolutely are hungry to win. They have a losing record. By the way, Brandon Ayuk out for the season with a torn ACL. They obviously are dealing with the Christian McCaffrey stuff, so he won't be ready to go either. And this is a banged up version of the 49ers. On the other hand, you've got the Cowboys who are absolutely dying to shake off that 49-7 loss they just took versus the Detroit Lions. And it happened, a week ago because it's a bye week between that game and the 49ers one. So, man, a lot that we have to talk about, but I'll start with the Micah Parsons thing because obviously that is one of the biggest storylines for this one. Will Micah be back or not? Because the Cowboys need some defensive help. And I don't know, Micah basically said that it's still up in the air, but I'll read you the quote and you tell me if you agree that this game, man, that it doesn't sound like he's going to be back. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. Micah said, "It is still up in the air. My hopes are always very high. I love great challenges. I love being able to beat the odds. I'm going to put this up to my trainers and my coaching staff." So a few bits that stand out from that one. Right, I would start with the fact that Micah is talking about great challenges. That part was pretty intriguing to me. And then he's talking about having to beat the odds or being able to beat the odds. And then he says, hey, it's going to be up to the trainers, to the coaching staff. That doesn't quite sound like somebody that is about to return to the field, does it? And I might be wrong. Listen, first practice is on Wednesday, and that's when we'll get an even better idea whether or not number 11 will play. But if the player is talking about beating the odds and facing a great challenge, and then closes that out with saying that, hey, I'm just going to leave it up to the trainers, I'm going to leave it up to the coaching staff. What this sounds to me, and this is just a theory on Monday, it sounds to me like Micah is not playing. It sounds to me like Micah wants to play. It sounds to me like he is really believing that he might beat the odds here. But even when he's talking about, hey, I'll leave it up to the coaching staff and to the trainers, that sounds to me that is Micah letting everyone know, hey, I want to be out there, but it's not going to be my call. At the end of the day, they'll make it for me. And we know Parsons, man, he's banged up. In the fourth quarter, the Cowboys can be up by 20, down by 20. He'll still want to be out there making plays. So that's what it sounds to me. Now, Mike McCarthy did not offer any additional information to this on Monday's press conference. Instead, he was talking about how he spent the entire week in rehab at the Star with the team facilities. And, hey, that's good to know, but he didn't say anything about the game status for Parsons. Now, on a similar note, Mike McCarthy did talk about Eric Kendricks and Dayron Bland, and he talked about how it was still too early to know if they're going to be able to go versus the 49ers. So that even adds more concerns to the defense because Dayron Bland was trending towards being back versus the Lions. There was a setback of sorts there because he practiced fully Wednesday and Thursday and then was a non-participant for Friday's game. So that might be a concern if it's still a question if he can go in week 8. Was it a setback? And I might be panicky here. I'm sorry if that's the case, but the fact that it's not, there's no more confidence there catches my attention as well. And then there's Eric Kendricks, who suffered a shoulder injury late in week 6, leading up to the game, ended up not playing. And Mike McCarthy also said that it was not a guarantee that he was going to be ready to go. So that Wednesday injury report, man, it's going to be important because the Cowboys, they're going to have to beat the 49ers, man, if the fan base is going to feel better after week 8. There's going to have to be some gambles there. And speaking of, and we'll get into some 49ers thoughts as they continue to struggle here a little bit. But before we do any of that, let me know in the comments, are you scared or are you not scared by the 49ers matchup. While you let me know in the comments down below how you feel, let me talk to you about our friends over at Texas Card House, because man, you gotta join the premier poker experience at Texas Card House, where the thrill of the game meets the excitement of the community. Now, I've been saying this for years. If you play poker, you know how important being in the right community is. You can visit any of their 6 Texas locations, highlighting the Dallas and Las Colinas venues. TCH Texas Card House offers a unique blend of luxury, sophistication, and camaraderie for poker aficionados. Whether you are a seasoned pro or maybe you're just starting out, maybe you're learning what a full house is, what a straight flush is, join a welcoming community at a top-notch facility located near you. Tomorrow is Tuesday. You know already about $2 Tuesdays. You'll get there, you'll play some poker, you'll get draft beers for only $2. And if you can make it on Tuesday, man, there's no problem. You can join the lowball happy hour every day from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So check out our friends over at Texas Card House. Link in the description below, by the way. But moving on with the show, are you scared or are you not scared about the 49ers matchup? I'll tell you this. I understand people that are acting as, hey, the Cowboys could win this. The Niners are struggling. That offensive line, people like to make it about Brock Purdy, and I understand. People like to say, hey, without the old pro receivers, without the old pro running back, Brock Purdy is going to struggle. And I agree to some degree, right? He's not going to be the same QB. But what mostly worries me for the Niners is that offensive line. I don't know if it's going to be able to compensate. The offensive line for the Niners has been their top concern for years now. But they've been able to compensate it because of the playmakers that they have. But now that offensive line, I think it's starting to become more evident and more evident that it is not great. On Sunday's loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, you could see Brock Purdy make mistakes under pressure in those red zone instances, right? 2 of their last 3 drives ended in interceptions, and the Kansas City Chiefs capitalized off of those mistakes with huge touchdown drives late in the game. That's how they close the game out. That's how what they do. That's what the Chiefs do. But anyways, back to the Niners. I am worried for them, objectively speaking. I don't think they're looking like that NFC team to beat, not while the Vikings are doing what they're doing, not while the Lions are doing what they're doing. But for the Cowboys specifically, I think they got to prove it to us, man, before we buy into the idea that they might beat San Francisco. Because what we've seen is the Cowboys go up against Kyle Shanahan-style offenses in New Orleans. New Orleans blew the Cowboys out of the water. They have not won a game since then. The Cowboys have not proven to us they can beat Kyle Shanahan-style offenses. Why on earth would we think they're going to slow down Kyle Shanahan himself, right? And I'm not saying they absolutely cannot do it. I'm saying that no amount of concern that I might have for the 49ers is going to ease my concerns that the Cowboys might not slow down the Niners. So I got to see it first. I think it's going to be an intense game for Mike Zimmer because it's going to be one of those showdowns where you better come up with a plan, man, because what Steve Spagnuolo likes to do versus the Niners is he'll like to play man coverage across the board, get physical at the line of scrimmage, and try to load the box and try to slow down the Niners that way. He'll have timely blitzes because that's what Steve Spagnuolo does for the Chiefs. Gotta love that guy. But, man, if you play zone, if you come into this game trying to get cover 3 in there all game long, I don't know if that's the way you're going to beat the Niners. So I would like to see Zimmer come into this game and be like, okay, we'll do man coverage. Ironically, that's what we complained about with Dan Quinn, but just based on the personnel that you have, that might be your best shot at this point, right? That's why Daron Bland potentially playing or not playing in this game is going to be huge. You want Daron Bland to play man coverage because if it's Kalen Carson or Romani, the practice squad corner, manning up against J1 Jennings, I don't know you win that matchup at all, right? And I mentioned J1 because obviously Brandon Ayuk is out. Deebo Samuel should be good to go. But then you got the likes of George Kittle and all that. But the point is man-to-man coverage, man. If you want to have an edge, Daron Bland should be there. Because if you can get Trevon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, and Daron Bland in there, you can play man coverage. Otherwise, someone is getting roasted, basically, by the Niners offense. So, and if you play man coverage, you will have to force Brock Purdy to make those tight window throws, right? Which is maybe under the current circumstances for the Niners, the best way to go. But the Cowboys are seriously banged up. We don't know if Micah is playing. We don't know if Bland is playing. We don't know if Kendricks is playing. So I guess until Wednesday, we won't get a better idea as to what will happen. In the meantime, though, keep enjoying the A-to-Z Sports Dallas content. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you go check out Texas Card House, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.